That's good. Yeah, Matthew 28 says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey all that I have commanded you. And behold, I will be with you always."
Elijah has this thing. He does that laugh on command. Eden does that thing where she like blows air in her cheeks. She goes,
But why?
but she just did it when she was like 2, and I made sure she remembered how to do it.
Oh my goodness.
But it's like her lips don't move, like her cheeks vibrate on the inside.
Weird.
But
I'm doing it, right?
you're kind of doing it.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm
but
doing
we
it,
need
Dad.
I need to figure out what Zeke's thing is. Like he doesn't have that thing yet, other than he just jumps off it. Oh no, his thing's this. He just makes this face where he just like,
He just goes, "Get a car."
Jacob Carr.
Yeah.
Jacob Carr. Pat's starting to become his own person. He's Pat instead of Ophi.
Oh, yeah. He distinguishes between us now. So
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah.
It's great.
Is it though?
It's sad that not everybody is me now, because that was kind of funny.
It was pretty funny. I will say that.
Yeah.
Because everybody is not you.
Everybody isn't me. And Ophi really mostly meant Pat.
You know, one thing that I think in Christian circles we always want to do is make sure that everybody is like somebody, and that's Jesus.
There's
So-
your,
so
there's your spiritual spin.
So we're talking about discipleship today.
Discipleship today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny that Megan was just here. She should have actually talked about discipleship with us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We just don't have 4 mics.
But so what we would just do is we would talk and then we go, here, Megan.
Yeah, Megan, here.
Here.
I'm scared to do that because I feel like this table's going to tip over, but
It'd be really funny on the blooper reel
yeah.
for the camera people.
Right. Hold on. Okay,
What are you doing?
we're good.
What?
I just sound weird. I sound like
I
I've got
think
like,
you sound great.
do I sound great?
You sound terrific. You
Okay.
have such a great voice for this type of thing.
And a face for it. I winked
Yeah.
at the camera because usually podcasts don't have cameras.
Yeah.
People
All right,
always
show
tell me I got a
Show me
face
what
for
the green
radio.
button does.
The green button. Which one? This one or
That
this one? This
No,
one?
green. Right there.
Yo, record scratch. Hold up.
Dude, that's sweet.
Okay.
So
What in the world?
yeah, we need to put that in the middle so we can all like reach for them. And when you say I've got the face for it, I'm gonna record scratch.
Okay. We'll move it. How's that?
Thanks.
How's that?
Thanks. That's helpful.
So much closer.
That's so helpful.
Oh, they can't see it. They can't see it.
All right.
there.
What do
Okay,
you guys
cool.
want to talk about discipleship?
Well, I think one thing is that like who disciples, like who is it? Like I think at a lot of churches we sort of look at discipleship from the lens of the sermon on Sunday and like corporate worship. So like is it just the pastor who disciples the church on a Sunday morning? Like who disciples?
I like that. But we all know that at Restore, we are way, way different than what you described with discipleship, right?
Right.
I just trying to figure out which direction to take that. Like, Sophie has, how many people do you disciple, Sophie?
3.
3?
Yep. I have 3.
3. You're not a pastor.
Ooh.
Is it? You're not a pastor. You can't disciple that many people.
Hold up. What's going on?
Only 3. I feel like that. I think that's the limit, right? 3.
I don't know. Jade has 8.
Jade. Oh,
It has 8.
That's
I
my
was
disciple.
rebuking her earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that fun? So like we're in this season where like we're rebuking our people for discipling too many people.
Yeah.
Hey, don't disciple so many people. Who's that?
Dude, I don't know. Shoot. There goes my job.
No, so like for people to hear about this, we have our discipleship system, right? It's a system, not a program. Why is that different? Why is that different that it's a system and not a
That's a
program?
good question.
Yeah.
Let Sophie answer.
Oh, let me answer.
Oh.
Yeah, why is
Okay.
it a system and not program? What's the difference?
System.
Thanks, Sophie.
I guess I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I know systems are good to build healthy structure, healthy communication and stuff, but I don't know. I wouldn't know how to define program and how they would be different.
All right, let's take
Pastor
a look.
Jacob, let's hear it.
Let's look at a computer. Okay. So you pull up.
Let's look at the computer.
You pull up an application. It runs a program,
Yes.
right? It's a certain program executing. And if something happens here, like let's say you click a button, the computer is programmed, which like automatically directed to do something. So if I go to Facebook and I hit go live, the program says that Facebook is going to be directed to let my account go live. It's mindless. There's systems within programming. I guess maybe systems isn't the right. Hold up.
Simplify that for us.
Oh,
That's
my
so
goodness.
complex.
Listen, I'm a 7.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So,
But-
programs are mindless. Systems are intentional.
Sure. Yeah. That
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay. All right.
Like
Mindless as in
producing something.
mindless as in repeatable to the
thing.
point of boredom. I don't know.
System
Okay.
is just structure.
Yeah.
All right. I'll accept that.
System is intentional.
Yeah.
All right. So where do we actually want to go with discipleship? Like what was the question? Who disciples,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Who disciples?
We haven't answered that yet.
Yeah. We still haven't. I don't know if it's the pastor or who.
Maybe women.
Maybe women,
Is it women? Is that what you said?
Maybe.
which is crazy. We're Baptists.
Yeah. Okay. So just so everybody's on the same page. Only men in the pastorate who have been ordained
And have been to seminary.
and have been to seminary and disciple. They don't have to graduate seminary though. They just have gone.
What do you mean? Hold up. You don't have to graduate seminary?
Hey, so this is really fun. So we have our discipleship system. So our goal is to be a church of people where everybody is discipled and being a disciple maker. Everybody is being discipled and everybody is discipled.
Discipling.
And we have what?
Hold up. Did you say everyone is being discipled and everyone is a okay, I got you. Never mind. Sorry.
Both. Everybody's
Okay.
doing both.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah. And it's so interesting if you guys if people look at discipleship from a first century Jewish education system perspective, right?
Right.
And like discipleship, the word was like their version of grad school, right? Have you thought about it like that? It's like their version of grad school, and you go through your basic education system, and then you're discipled by somebody in this like crazy intensive way. And I think that's like to your question, that's where discipleship becomes so much more than just like a Sunday attendance thing. It's like the nature of the first century definition. It's like it couldn't be that simple or that easy even. What do you think?
It's good.
It's good.
It's
I
so
mean,
good.
I want you guys to speak into it because like I could just make a sermon out of this. I have a sermon on this.
Yeah, we know. We've heard it
I've got a whole like.
at least 3 times, I think.
Hey, listen, Megan was here earlier. We're talking about shortening content and how hard it is. The shortened version of that sermon is 55 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour sermon on how crazy and important this is.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like what you said. Like referring it back to first century AD when, people didn't really have a whole lot of these, like there were colleges, there were like schools of philosophy, but discipleship was the form that was most common. And, you've said in your sermons before, like the goal of discipleship is to educate, but it would also allow the disciple to like point to who their teacher is and be like, I learned from this guy. So like I could, like in talking about, let's say, man, I forgot who my professors were. Oh, like let's say, let's do chemistry, because Jay Shore was my chemistry teacher in college. If I got something wrong in chemistry, I could say, someone could ask me, okay, who taught you chemistry? And I could be like, Jay Shore. Like he was my teacher. Like he's who I learned everything through. And I think it was really important, like especially when we look at church history and like early church theology, when we look at things like Arianism, which
okay, let's go there. Forget discipleship. Let's talk about Arianism,
which is a heresy. Basically, that Jesus was of the created order. He was the first of the creation. Very similar to how the Mormons view everything, but when we look at Arianism or Docetism or any sort of other thing, we can say like, okay, these groups of individuals were disciples, like the Arians were disciples of Arius. So they could point and say, okay, this guy is the teacher who's spreading this false information. And I think we could also like apply that to discipleship. Like if some guy like pulled up to the church who's been coming for a while and he starts spewing some nonsense and we're like, yo, who's your disciple maker? And they're like, oh, it's Jacob. And you're like, oh, it checks out. Like,
yeah, that tracks.
Let's get him out. Then you can, man, how do you have those memorized, brother?
You just need to put that bad boy right here for me.
Okay. I'll put it over there next week. Or next episode, which is like right after this.
Yeah.
But, and so it's really helpful that I think we have this discipleship relationship, not just for the growing Christians, but also shepherding the flock. I think it makes it a lot easier for us to keep in touch with the 350 plus people that we have if everybody is in some sort of discipleship relationship where we can be like, okay, what's going on? Sort of not like keeping tabs on people in a creepy way, but in a loving and caring and kind way. Sophie, say something.
I don't know.
You ain't got nothing?
No.
Well, I think you touched on so many great things in discipleship, right? Like the nature of the relationship.
Right.
We go way back to what Paul said, and he's like, imitate me as I imitate Christ. That statement is so much more meaningful with a first century discipleship definition in mind, right? Mm-hmm. So like Sophie disciples 3 people. Out of those 3 people she disciples, there's like 10, 15 other disciples, from her, she disciples somebody who disciples somebody who disciples somebody, and Jay disciples 1,000 people. Coming down the line, they're going to be like Sophie, as Sophie is like Jesus. Mm-hmm. And like that puts this pressure. Like Sophie's like, your walk with Jesus matters in a totally new light, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But you're good at following Jesus. And so I'm watching your disciples become healthier spiritually because they want to be like the girl Sophie.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. Yeah. And
It's
also just
terrifying.
a lot of, terrifying. Just, I think we should think about it like that more often. I think we can get in a routine of just like, these are the girls I meet with every other week to talk about it. God, pray together. Yeah. But yeah, that's true. Like Brittany disciples me and so I learned how to do discipleship from her. So all these, me and Brittany talked about that recently. It's like all the habits that we have with our first discipleship are the habits we take to our other discipleships when we start discipling somebody else, like praying together beforehand or like I do 3 questions with my girls every week or every other time we meet, asking them how they fed themselves, how they fed others, and how they fed their flesh. Yeah.
There you go.
Do you ask that question every discipleship? I love that.
Yeah.
I don't do that with my guys. I should probably do that.
They do. Should.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
good.
How you fed others, how you fed yourself, how you fed your flesh.
Yeah.
Man, those are good discipleship questions.
Yeah, they are. JP, Jonathan
JP.
Bakluta, shout out.
Yep.
He gave you that one?
Yep.
Yeah,
I like that.
He gave me everything, everything that I have.
Oh, gee, thanks.
But yeah, so like
You did too.
doing
Yeah.
those things helps
You gave me anxiety. No,
them.
as my boss.
It helps them learn more about how they can do that as disciple makers when they have their own disciples.
Yeah. So, Sophie, you like, all right, let's frame discipleship a little bit for people to kind of think more like we're thinking. And then I want to ask you a really good question. So like we say at Restore, discipleship's a relationship. It's not a program, but it's a relationship with an agenda. Whereas like some relationships exist to just do whatever you feel like that day. But discipleship's a relationship where it's like our commitment to each other is, number one, if I'm discipling you, you are entitled to be righteously selfish. I don't expect you to mentor me. I'm committed to being your teacher, your leader, to steward myself in a way that you benefit from. And I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm going to be charitable and generous, and I want you to expect much from me. And so number one, we have this relationship where there's a clearly established mentor or leader, and then everybody has the same goal of saying we want to grow in faith together, and our gathering is either to grow in faith, to have fun that honors Jesus, or whatever, right? And like that's so biblical. That's so like how Jesus spent time with his disciples. But he also called them friends, right? He called them his brothers. Like he has all this familial and friendship language. So like we do that. But somebody wants to do this and they have they don't know what to do. Sophie, speak into that, because you had an interesting start to your discipleship journey.
Which one?
Exactly. Like what can some people expect when they want to start discipleship? And maybe it doesn't start off easy, or maybe everybody doesn't gel, but it's worth pursuing. Talk about your bumpy beginning. Don't name names, just tell the journey.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I started discipleship and did that for a while, and it was good, but it didn't work out in that season, I guess.
Be more specific. Like, how'd you start? Were you with Brittany then?
I didn't start with Brittany,
You're
but
with someone else.
yeah.
And it was
good. It wasn't right for either of us in that time.
because
I'm not sure why. It's hard to remember, honestly.
this is a while ago.
It was it was a long time ago. So I don't really remember why the first one didn't work out, honestly. But then I was discipled by somebody else, and it took a while for that one to catch on, and it did end up being really good. But then we just had some communication stuff, and then you sat in with us on one and helped us communicate better in our discipleship. That made it really good.
Shout out to Disciple Check. That's what we call it when we have disciple maker sit in with a couple other disciples down the line somewhere.
Come on, we love it.
You love it?
It's helpful.
I've never done it.
Yeah. Should I do Disciple Check with you guys?
No.
A couple times.
You'll be so disappointed.
Well, I don't know what to say to that.
Well, you can sit in with Jack and I. Like,
Yeah.
and the boys too. But
No,
yeah.
I wasn't talking about Jack. I was talking about the boys. All right. When do you guys meet next? I'm coming.
All right, we're meeting Sunday at 8:00.
All right.
And we're going to go through the rest of Multiply.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, we haven't gotten through
You
it.
finally done with Prodigal? Or what is it?
Well, last time we got together, we played Risk together. Or not Risk, Catan. And we were just talking about Jesus and life and getting upset and throwing pieces across.
Listen,
it was really a lesson in patience.
Yeah, that's your spiritual thing, huh?
Yeah. No, but that's one thing that I think I really liked what you said about that. Like how you do your first discipleship will sort of be like how you do the rest of them. And I can speak from experience, like our discipleship group that we have can be kind of scrambled, and is usually just like a bunch of friends getting together, making jokes, talking about Jesus, going through content, but it can be very easy to get off track. Like now that I'm discipling another guy who's super hungry for the Word of God and super hungry for learning about like how do you be a good Christian? Like what does this look like? Some of those habits are really difficult to break, like just wanting to have camaraderie over everything. So it's really interesting dynamic and trying to correct those things like as a disciple maker. And then the one thing that's been really interesting is I never went through like an actual discipleship. Like I just kind of pulled up to the scene after graduating college, and like you hired me on as a resident and an intern, like, and we were like, we're just going to do this. And like we read the books. I read the books. We talked about them a little bit, but it wasn't like this weekly meet. Like we were meeting daily, so it feels different. But needless to say, I think starting off strong is key. And then I've had 3 other discipleships that have fizzled out or failed, or 4 actually. And so like I don't know if I have the most out of anybody, but but I feel like an expert in failed discipleships, which has been interesting.
But I'm glad you talk about that. So like Sophie started, you had one that fizzled out, and then you went to another one, and it was good for a season and fizzled out. That one fizzled in, I think, in a healthy way.
Yes.
And then you ended up getting discipled by Brittany, and like you guys went through the whole system, and now you're still meeting on a regular basis because you have such a good friendship outside of it. But you guys still meet together with purpose. So like I love what you guys do. You have friendship where you can do fun, spontaneous things, like your trip in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Going out of town, and I'm going to watch all the
going down to
kids all by
Junk
myself for a weekend.
You're going on a what?
We're going down to Junk Stock.
Junk
Two?
stock.
What
Junk
is-
Stock.
What is it where they throw like a bunch of garbage in a pot of water
what
and
they
make
do.
some stock out of
Yep.
it? Or
Yes.
what is it?
It's like a fall. It's like a big vendor fair with pumpkins and apple cider donuts. And
Very mindful.
very cutesy.
Very demure.
Oh gosh. But my
By
point.
the time this podcast gets up, that trend is going to be so dead.
Oh my goodness. My point though that I was making in that is that you guys still you have like meaningful, spontaneous friendship, but then you still have that like part of your relationship where in your friendship you still gather together with purpose and push each other to grow. And like I think it's so countercultural. And I think the whole world would be a better place if more friendships had that component to it instead of like discipleship helps us grow spiritually. But if all of society had discipleship components built into relationships, so many more people would live up to a greater potential rather than every friendship. Like you think most friendship exists as a place of pleasure, right? Like we align ourselves in a routine of finding pleasure and fun doing stuff together. Whereas if it is that, but also like accountability and growth, like we have so much more value to the world around us, right? Like I don't like wasting time. Like even my fun, I want my fun to be meaningful and enhance my life, make the world a better place. Like taking you guys out tonight for our big celebration.
Wow, it's going to be the best food.
Shout out to
What?
Carnival. Come on, you guys.
Oh, sorry.
Brazilian grills.
Steakhouse.
Brazilian grills.
Yes. Oh, they're
Super good.
they're incredible. Just
Super excited.
Like Carnival's so good. It made Sophie go from not liking meat to liking meat. That's how good it is.
Maybe. I'm just less picky.
no, because she told me earlier. So I told her like after we eat out at these places, I feel like dog water, bro. Like after eating 20 pounds of meat, I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't have eaten 20 pounds of meat. And then,
You can just order a salad bar tonight and I'll eat all the meat.
No,
You can do that.
That isn't happening.
Saves me $20.
And then Sophie, 20?
Yeah, it's like half the price to get the salad bar than to get the whole full rodizio.
Is it
Salad
really?
bar is really good. It's got mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Mac and cheese is one of the main things on your food pyramid, Sophie.
Oh yeah, I have mac and cheese every week.
Yeah.
EMAC.
You know what I have?
And the other days of the week, she has different pastas.
Yeah. It's all, she's just the pasta queen.
Yes.
Hey, what should we say? What questions about discipleship should we be answering? How are we doing on time? I feel like
We're a little over, but I think that's okay.
so I want to make sure.
First introductory episode, camaraderie building with the
What button haven't we done yet?
this orange one.
What does that do?
No, don't. That's the wrong one.
I can't. I don't know.
Fix it.
I don't know how to
Fix
stop.
it.
I don't know how to stop it.
What's
I
the
can
What's the
just
yellow
hit
one
it.
do? No, the yellow. Let's go. All right, wrap up round. Let's go. What do we need to say about discipleship? What questions should we answer? I think we.
Yeah. So we asked the question of who, and it's everyone, right?
Everybody who's a Christian.
Yeah, Matthew 28 says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, teaching them to obey all that I have commanded you. And behold, I will be with you always." So that's Matthew 28. The end of it. I don't know the actual verses, but it's like 19 through 22 or something like that. But so everybody disciples, and the how is kind of up in the air a little bit, I would say. Like when you were talking about friendships need to be, or friendships tend to be about pleasure, about, fulfilling. Like I was just thinking about that. Like every time Luke and I are together, or Daniel and I, or Josiah and I, like we're laughing. Like, and same thing with you guys. Like we're always having fun, and that's a good pursuit as friends. And then I started thinking about like a marriage relationship where it's like, oh, they're always having fun too. And I'm like, well, no, they're also raising kids and like doing really important things and like cleaning the house and whatnot. and so like there's an aspect of friendship that discipleship doesn't cover. And so I think like how is just through intentionality. Like at Restore, we have a system that we've developed there, that you've developed really, but we as a church kind of, I want to be involved in that.
Say we
that we developed.
We're a team.
Come on, teamwork made a dream work, man.
Let's
Can
go.
I get a Snoop Dogg button in here?
Please put a Snoop Dogg button.
the great prophet Snoop Dogg.
But I want to jump in. Like what you're saying, I think is brilliant. Like, what questions do we need to answer? Who should disciple? Everybody who calls Christ Lord should be discipleship, and it's to the degree that like if you're not like the Great Commission is a command in my mind.
Yeah.
And so like if
It ain't
we're
optional,
not
bruh.
what?
It ain't optional, bruh.
Yeah. So like if we're not involved in the discipleship process, we're being in active rebellion against God. And hit it, man.
I don't know which one. Hold up.
Nope.
Top
There we
three
go.
one. Oh wait.
Nope.
No, go back. There we go. All right, just get all. But yeah, if we're not, do you have multiple? Is there a
You go to the
second
other
layer?
side. Is there more?
Yeah. Oh. No, I don't want those. Oh man. Yeah. So there's, I believe up to
right.
what's 4 times 32
Oh, that's too many.
options.
Oh, we just
Too
need
many.
8 good ones that we know how to use.
Yeah.
But that we know how to use.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I could read it. I just can't. My eyes are too bad.
But man, I lost what I was saying.
What
Like
questions
we
do
have to do the Great Commission, and the Great Commission, and this is, maybe we wrap up with this. Like the Great Commission isn't build big churches. It's not fill big classrooms. It's not gather the largest number of people that you can. All those things are good. We're trying to do those things as a ministry, but it is make disciples. And it was spoken in first century Israel by a Jewish rabbi who's also the Son of God. And so I think when we say go make disciples, this is why we developed the system, is that we should do it as closely to the command giver as possible. And that's why our goal is to make 3 million disciples by 2041. We have 16 discipleship groups right now where it's everybody can, and this is what we say at church, right? Hey, raise your hand if you're a disciple. All right, point to who's discipling you with that hand. And if they can't, then we say like, hey, I'm not saying you're not a follower of Jesus, but you're not being discipled. And we want to make that as simple as possible. That's why we have this system. And I think what's beautiful about this is we're not the only people doing this anymore. I feel like 4 years ago, it was us, and God gave us this like rebuke as a church, saying like, hey, or how are you making disciples? And I'm like not literally talking to God, but he's like speaking in my heart. And I'm like, oh gosh, we're not actually doing it. And he's
I'm preaching
on Sunday. We're gathering people. He's like, no, how are you making disciples, kid? And I'm like, I'm doing church. He's like, no, how are you actually discipling people? And I went to this huge church planters conference, and I found out that the Lord is rebuking pastors across our country, like with the same language. And everybody's starting to come out of the woodwork saying, whoa, we actually need to bring back discipleship. Oh, so do we, and so do we, and so do we. And so I want to encourage everybody out there, if you're in a local church somewhere else, go talk to your pastor about how you can do discipleship like first century Israel. And everybody in our vicinity, like, come connect with us. We have 2 discipleship directors on board, ready to like help you make that jump. Let's go make disciples of all nations, baptize in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Come on. So just let's do a quick recap. Okay. So who makes disciples? Everybody. Why do we make disciples? Because Christ told us to. How do we do it? With intentionality, focus. Oh, I'm focused. What was the third? Was the fourth thing? Was the last thing? What am I missing?
It's happening across the nation. God's rebuking the church to make disciples.
Yeah. So if you're not doing it, do it. If you're not being discipled,
listen to you go.
Find someone to do it.
All right, Sophie, closing thoughts on discipleship.
Closing thoughts.
I'm cutting you off. Sophie, closing thoughts on discipleship.
Discipleship is amazing, and everyone should do it. That's all I got.
Come on, somebody.
All right, how are we doing on time? Well, how long did that take?
Yeah, 35 minutes. So we got to wrap it up.
That's good. All right, guys, welcome to episode 1 of the Ramble. Like, subscribe, comment, share this with your friends.
Send it to your grandmama.
And worship with us at Restore Church. If you're near, if you're not near, watch us online and comment. Say, hey, I came here because I watched the Ramble. And I could talk forever, but we're going to say peace out.
Peace.
Sophie, you got to wave bye to everybody.